how to navigate change through AI using my 7 strategic zones. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Serena. This is Serena's Playbook, the place where you level up your strategic thinking. And if this is not the first time that you have been here, you will notice I'm not sitting where I usually do. I'm normally facing this way, and my camera battery was exhausted. If you're a content creator and you're about to sit down to quickly do some filming, some recording, and you go to turn on the camera and it says battery exhausted, and you can't find the backup battery. It's just hugely annoying. But luckily, I'm using my inbuilt camera, which is not too bad. It's not too bad. Let me know in the comments. So let's talk about navigating all this AI change. If you're a creator, a business, a brand building in public. Okay, so if you're feeling the pressure to constantly adapt to new AI tools, new platforms, and new expectations, that you are absolutely not alone. A lot of us creators and entrepreneurs, we know we have to evolve, and perhaps we're doing it. And perhaps this will be a good reminder to you that you are. And sometimes you might not know how you need to evolve because there's a lot of information out there. I've also got my cup of tea with me. Let me take a little sip. So that's actually why it was for one. This was one of the reasons why I produced, and now provide this framework, these 7 strategic zones. I'll name them as I explain them. So we'll go through that, and this will give you a way to adapt without losing your direction, your voice, or your sanity, because we don't want to lose that. So, my zone 1 is about your strategic self awareness. AI is changing many things. There's uncertainty, but I'm a realist. I'm not a pessimist. I can be a little bit. But, it might be that, the sudden change or the significant, massive change won't happen all at once. So you can iterate into this. Now, you can't respond well from where you're at, though, if you don't understand what your strengths are. Gosh, my lighting. Anyway, what your strengths are and what your perhaps blind spots are. And this is why zone 1 is all about your strategic self-awareness. So, which skills do you have that you actually want to sharpen? What's within your capability right now? This isn't just about you wanting to automate stuff. It's like, what do you actually want to really strengthen? We don't just want to sort of, ideally not for me anyway. I don't just want to replace my outputs and the things that I offer, my expertise. I don't just want to automate it. So it's about strengthening them. And it's also looking at the parts of your process that drain you potentially. And perhaps, are you over relying on AI in any way? And perhaps you're underusing it. Perhaps there's spaces where you could actually do with using it a lot more. So this strategic self-awareness is really important for us to understand. So see if you can apply that. Ask yourself those questions and see where you can begin to adapt. So you've got to understand your patterns first. Again, that's why zone 1 is about your strategic self-awareness. And all of these zones apply even to your reputational management, crisis comms, brand development. So we're applying it to change when it comes to AI. So zone 2 is about your interdependencies and your stakeholders. AI doesn't just affect your workflow, it's affecting everyone around you. And so you need to do that thing, which is mapping your ecosystem, who are your audience, your collaborators, the platforms that you rely on, that perhaps you publish on mainly, and the communities that you're a part of online and offline. So you've got to ask, how does AI and how will AI change what the stakeholders in your ecosystem will expect from you, including the platform itself? And therefore, what do you need to do for them, right? And once you begin to see this network, you ideally stop reacting, and you are able to sort of think ahead and plan ahead. My zone 3 is all about your risk readiness and your reputation design. And this comes into a lot of my PR, public relations advice. And AI really does raise your risks when it comes to information, sorry, misinformation, plagiarism, any sort of sameness, copying going on. And it's also unfortunate the sort of the speed over depth dilemma. So you've got to protect yourself, and you've got to protect yourself by having very clear ideas and principles. So what will you use IA? What will you use AI for, and what won't you use it for? What do you definitely stand behind? What do you endorse? What will you advocate for? And perhaps what things won't you attach your name to? Your reputation, your stance on AI and all this sort of technological change will become recognized within your sort of stakeholder ecosystem. And so by having a think about this, again, you are getting ahead of your reputational management, and you won't just be operating in an accidental way. Zone 4, your media literacy and zeitgeist awareness. I always say this: be aware of the cultural world you're living in, the politics, the technological shifts. That way you can stay ahead. You've got to be aware of how audiences are reacting to AI generated content, for instance, what stories are shaping public opinion. What are the creators in your ecosystem doing? How are they thriving, and why? And is there any backlash going on? I always feel that that is a useful thing to have a think about. So you've got to be aware of what's going on within your ecosystem's zeitgeist, if you like. Zone 5, coming to the end, your engagement system and your content architecture. You build the content first, right? And then flex with AI. Like, still think as a creative and an artist first. Don't allow it to replace your signature style, your own sort of story structures, and the things that you are consistent with and have been consistent with, your signature style. Let AI be a tool for you. Don't let it just become a whole system that that you yourself had in the first place. Now, zone 6 is your north star and your value compass, and AI can make you fast, yes, but you don't want it to replace your intention and your sort of direction. So your North Star, your core value, will keep you from just chasing trends and jumping on any kind of a bandwagon. So always have a think about, what is your long-term story? What are you telling in terms of a story? And what change are you sort of helping your audience make? What's that transformation? I've talked about that in other videos. And again, once again, what do you stand for when it comes to AI? So protect your voice, really nurture it, and stand out. Let your principles sort of come through in your stance with AI as well. And zone 7, your reflexive thinking. And I talk about the bricklayer mindset. You can find more videos on that playlist. So this is where you stay adaptable. You don't just cling to one identity or one capability or one format. You build from what you have, all of your resources, the bricolage, right? I talk about that in other videos. So repurpose. You can experiment and stay curious and creative. And this is a zone I believe will really make you future proof. So if you are a creator and entrepreneur and you really want to thrive in this AI era and still hold on to your own sort of signature style and voice, then please do subscribe. It's been wonderful to have you here. Remember, your time and attention is so precious. So thank you for giving me your time and attention. And if you haven't already, subscribe, and I'll see you every Monday with bonus episodes during the seasonal period.